The folks at Fox News this past weekend decided to take an idiotic talking point from a conservative author slash Senate candidate and make it into an entire segment. Now, the author slash Senate candidate is a man by the name of J.D. Vance. Rose to prominence writing the book Hillbilly Elegy, then turned into a hardcore Trumpist. And he said recently at a conference and then followed up again on Twitter with it that, here it is, let's give votes to all children in this country, but let's give control over those votes to the parents of the children. And Fox News, the weekend Fox and Friends hosts, who are even dumber than the regular weekday Fox and Friends hosts, decided, you know what, that's a good idea. Let's talk about that. So you had Will Cain from Fox and Friends say this on the weekend. I think it's an interesting idea. I'm into interesting ideas. Let's think about it. Let's talk about it. He's saying childless leaders are making decisions that are short-term in mind, not focus on the long-term future health of this country because they don't have a stake in the game. Parents have a stake in the game. They have children, so give parents a bigger say. And then co-host Rachel Campos Duffy said, I agree with him 100% that they don't have a stake in the game. Pete Hegseth, the third co-host, said this. He said, that is looking at it through the lens of the actual solution, which is the family unit. So many ills that we have in our society stem from that breakdown. I agree with you. It's not a feasible policy, but what it is in principle is a reflection of the fact that what Ronald Reagan said, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. And the two people they specifically mentioned in this segment, by the way, is not having kids. Of course, AOC, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Yeah, those people don't have kids, so y'all don't get to make any decisions about the future of the country. And what's ironic about that is these are actually two politicians who are looking to the future. And Green New Deal and all that, protecting the environment, creating a new energy infrastructure here in the United States. Are you going to sit there and tell me that that's not looking into the future when you have old, aging politicians like Senator Jim Inhofe on the Republican side, who's actually been attacked by his own grandchildren for not doing enough to protect the planet for them, for downplaying the climate crisis and denying it even exists? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just ruin your talking point? Having kids or not having kids has absolutely zero effect on what these politicians in Washington, D.C. support. Hell, it has zero effect on what most Americans support. When you have conservative voters out there who have 2, 3, 4, I don't care how many kids, but are still voting for politicians who deny that climate change exists, they're the ones not thinking about the future. You could have a 40-year-old single guy who has no intention of ever having kids, but will only vote for hardcore environmentalists who want to protect the planet. You can't pigeonhole somebody as a voter just because they have children. Not to mention the fact that right now we have an infrastructure package working its way through the Senate via reconciliation that includes money to rebuild schools here in the United States, because that's a part of infrastructure. Build new schools. Which party could you tell me is 100% against that piece of legislation? It's not the Democrats. No, see, that's the Republicans. These people are idiots. And I say they're idiots instead of gaslighters because I honestly don't think any of them that were sitting on that Fox and Friends couch talking about this are smart enough to understand that it's the Republican Party that is the short-sighted party. Now, the Democratic Party has its flaws, don't get me wrong, we talk about them all the time. But when it comes to actually looking at the future, hell, at least the Democrats are willing to look a generation ahead, some of them looking multiple generations ahead, like AOC and the rest of the squad. But the Republicans are looking to the past. They always talk about wanting to bring America back to the good old days. They literally want to bring us backwards instead of propelling us forward. And a hell of a lot of them have kids. A hell of a lot of them have grandkids considering the age of most members of Congress. And as I pointed out, hell, I did a story on this back when I was writing for DSmog blog. Yeah, Jim Inhofe was attacked by his own grandchildren for denying climate change. So tell me who's looking out for the future of these kids, because it sure as hell isn't Republicans. and they know it.
Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.